party started. Being live streamed. I love how we're the hosts and it asks if we want to leave the meeting even though we're going live. Love it. Love it every time. Hey, since we're going live here right now, hey, YouTube, get your shit wired. Why? If we initiate the meeting and choose to go live, you shouldn't even ask us if we want to leave the meeting. That is my public service announcement. Friday, 3rd of September. Here it is. Mitch Kamich coaching the Savage in Business with my ever companions, Paul and Matt, in the MCC Virtual Business Box Lunch. We'll see some other audience members coming and joining us. We are here to bring the best of the week it was at business, give you ideas and suggestions, things coming from our brain pan to make yours smarter in business, and of course, try and entertain you. Lorette's coming in the house. Nice. Loving it. She better be coming in hot. And we're coming in hot. Audio's connected in 3, 2, 1. She's here. She's live. The Phoenix herself. Hello, Clarice. How are you?
Legendary.
Love it. And the amount of verification that YouTube is asking me to do today to go live is extraordinary. Paul, what did you do to my YouTube algorithm?
They just heard you and what you said about them, Mitch. That's why.
Now they're making me log in and verify everything. Oh, Don's coming to join us today as well. Fantastic. Open my God. All right. Hey, while we're here right now and I'm pushing buttons and clicking things so that YouTube knows that I'm actually me, right? Let's get around to introductions for everybody else here right now. I got Paul, I got Matt, I got Don, I got Lorette joining me today. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, even my ever companions, Paul and Matt. What you got?
Hey, Paul Flakowski, business coach. I help small, medium, and large size businesses get to their goals, free up time, and make more money. At the end of the day, that's what we're all looking for. And at the end of the game, are you ready to sell? Let's get you there.
Badass.
Nice, Paul. Matt Hewson, I am your broker of certainty. I also work with small, medium, some large scale businesses to create a path forward to make sure that you can sleep at night and that you're not waking up early panicked. Let's provide you some certainty in these very uncertain times. I love these chats. I love every Friday. I look forward to this. So thank you, Mitch, for putting it all together. Definitely lots of talking points this past week for sure. Look forward to it.
Fantastic. Lorette, what you got for us?
I'm Lorette from Phoenix Career Development. We teach the theory, practice, and choose your own adventure classes. If you really hate your job, have a conversation with me.
Don, as always, it is good to see you. And I've seen you how many times this week so far? My God, it's almost like I'm seeing Matt and Paul. My goodness.
Yeah, we're attached at the hip here. Yeah, Don Verboom, 4Tree Coaching. I take businesses and I put them on life support so they can get the success that they're hoping for and planning for. So if you're a small, mid-sized business that needs a good coach with some processes and tools from 35 years of experience, give me a call.
Fantastic. And now that I have safely clicked the box that says, this is not for children, YouTube. Fuck. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, September 3rd, Friday, 2021. Yesterday was exactly 120 days until the end of the year. We've been drumming that theme for the last 3 weeks. We ain't doing it today as well. We've talked about hiring the last few weeks. We're not drilling that one as well. We've talked about sales the last 3 weeks. We're not drumming that one as well. Hey, for a change, we don't have a cybersecurity expert. So guess what we're starting with today? Cybersecurity. Why? Who, and all of us on this call, whether we realized it or not, got the province-wide alert in Alberta saying that phone services and cellular was disrupted province-wide yesterday, and there are people that didn't have phone. There's people that didn't have text. This would be the third major disruption in the last year. A day goes by or a week doesn't go by where we don't hear about what? A disruption to a company, cyber attacks, cyber ransomware, people trying to figure out how to buy Bitcoin for the very first time. By the way, I got a great little anecdotal story. I'll narrow it down to this in about 10 seconds. I saw firsthand my very first ever cyber attack and cyber ransom 4 years ago with a major hotel chain, up close and personal, because a former client that runs an industrial IT firm just happens to work with this one. instead of listening to him on protecting everything, they decided to forego all of the solutions that IT brought forward. They got their accounts frozen out 72 hours before a $17 million payroll run, and elected instead to try and figure out in less than 24 hours how to buy 50 million in Bitcoin so they could pay the ransom to get their payroll account unlocked. So this ain't new. Cybersecurity. We're all talking on YouTube through Zoom. We all have this probably within arm's reach. We're all clearly talking on the glowing box. Is this a fact of life? And is this something that every business owner has got to start to take seriously? Because how long until it turns into a microtransaction? How long until it turns into a $2,000 random times 1,000 targets instead of a $2 million ransom times one? Panel, what do you think?
I think it's like anything else, easy targets, easy money. So if you're not protecting yourself, you're not protecting your passwords, you're using the 1, 2, 3, 4 system because it's easy for you, it's also easy for them. It's no different than any other type of security, right? We have locks on our door for a reason. We have security cameras for a reason. Now it's just moved way more online, and it's about closing those doors and locking them up. So, having an IT specialist or talking to somebody that is very knowledgeable in the industry is huge these days, because they're going after the small businesses now. The larger businesses are closing those gaps. They still make the headlines because, who doesn't like to read, $50 million ransomware instead of 50,000 or 20,000. So these things are ramping up because they're easy to do, hard to track, and it's human nature to go to easy money.
Yeah, I agree. I would say this, like, how many of us have car insurance or house insurance or business insurance? I just feel that the IT industry just needs to reposition it as truly like an insurance. Yes, you're going to have support. Yes, you're going to have some technicians. But more importantly, you're going to have the things that you need to be proactive rather than reactive, right? Like, how many of us have been online and did a random survey or a questionnaire to see what kind of cat you are or what kind of cheesecake you like? Well, many of those are to help identify where you would probably put a password and what kind of password it would be, right? Like, when I see somebody email me from like abc1983@gmail.com, I'm like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? Well, I now know your birth date is that year. So there's one question. All that aside, it just simply comes down to, it is a requirement. Like, it is a necessity in today's world, because like Paul just mentioned, there's going to be the ransomware that's going to be at the $2,000 to $5,000. And again, for small businesses right now, they cannot afford it, and it will go under the radar with so many of those happening, that I would prefer to have 100 of the 5,000 rather than the 50 million, right? It's easier to navigate through that. So we just need to be very mindful. And again, it's insurance for your IT.
Lorette, Don, thoughts?
I'm pressing buttons that are not making sense. Dawn's muted too and Dawn wants to say something. So I'm going to scale back to simple terms of what the definition of security is, which is the state of being free from danger or threat. So exactly what Matt said, like, knowledge, be proactive. So like, yes, obviously, think about your security. Everything possible to create security in your life, do it, especially with IT, because that's the new wave of, I'm going to desecrate you.
Don?
Yeah, I think what I've noticed in the last year is that the small businesses, entrepreneurs like us, were maybe not taking it too seriously because we thought it was always somebody else bigger, and I don't think we took the right precautions. But I think there's lots of good IT support out there that can do something with you on a monthly program, and just get that regular advice versus just when you start up your new computer or your new business. I think it's just like having a bookkeeper or a lawyer or an accountant. got to have a little bit of IT support on the side that regularly checks in with you. Are your backups being done properly? You know, if you had to crash the system, or got ransomware, would you be able to get back in? So, I use a little service that just, checks in every month and just says, checking your backups and checking your security system, make sure everything's functioning. So like peace of mind for a few dollars a month,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who's got cybersecurity insurance on their business? The MCC panel, we do.
Yep.
Right. We've been carrying cybersecurity insurance for 4 years. How robust is it? Now there's a question. There's a question for you.
What's page 3? No idea, right? Like that's also one of the barriers, is that if you have it, great. Is it right for you? Right? No different than the mortgage insurance platforms out there or this and that. Like, is it what your business, your industry needs? And that's something that people shy away from because, again, we're busy thinking about other things. But yeah, no, that's one of the key takeaways too, Mitch. So thanks for highlighting that.
Mm-hmm.
Devil's in the details on that side, right?
So if
may
you
be
had
covered, but are you really covered?
Paul, keep going.
Does that insurance policy cover you? Maybe not. Maybe they say it does. But you have to look at the fine print. And again, it goes to Matt. Who reads that stuff? Who reads your financial statements?
I was about to talk. You interrupted with going exactly the spot that I was in. Love it. So for us, for the whole panel, then what in your mind is a business owner's first steps? What's the stuff they got to take care of? Go get cyber insurance. What the hell is that? Because we know inside of our other organization, Syndicate, through some conversations we're watching with some of the IT professionals in there, that there's even a company now in our local marketplace in Alberta that will sit there, look at and vet your cybersecurity policy and tell you whether it's even worth the paper that it's printed on or whether it's going to cover you in case of an incident. So go get insurance. Okay, great. Well, it's a brand new marketplace that's very old. Again, I have a personal experience from 4 years ago, but it's been going on longer than that. Clearly, because those guys didn't wake up one morning and decide to hijack the payroll of account of a major hotelier and hold them ransom for $50 million to cut loose their payroll account, right? So that they can run a payroll cycle for thousands of employees. They didn't wake up one morning and figure that out. This is pretty sophisticated if you're able to get to that level, if you're able to get to people and handle all of this. So in your mind, when we look at the digital worlds, I just want to think about security. It's not just cybersecurity threats and et cetera. In a digital world where this is king now, and it doesn't matter what brand this is, but this thing is king, right? So for us, where this is going to house your business, house your communication, house your lifestyle, house your, in the world we're moving into, agree or disagree for a moment, no politics, no COVID here, but even down to information about vaccinations, travel plans, et cetera, ID requirements, banking, payment portal, right? If you think, so cybersecurity for a moment, and this is what you call foreshadowing for our second topic today. So on here, who's got a banking app right now? Out of the 5 of us on this panel, who's got a banking app, right? Who's got, Paul's shaking his head, but we know if we held Paul down and grabbed his phone, his banking information's right there. He's going, no, it's not. Yeah, it is. It's there somewhere. He thinks it's safe. It's not. Okay, who has more than one banking app on their phone? Who's got a crypto wallet on their phone? Who's got their accounting software on their phone? Who's got access to their digital drives or all their work-related documents on their phone? Who's got personal information pre-programmed in? Who's got easy payment, like on an Apple with an Apple Wallet, for example, so you could buy shit in a hurry? Who got the Starbucks app, right? Every one of these becomes a gateway both into the glowing magic box and a way to potentially hijack your stuff, right? That's awful heavy. Go ahead, Mitch. There's no IT people on here. No, there isn't. So what I want is people with a shred of common sense to talk about for a moment some of the mechanics, some of the things you should look at. So we're going to start with insurance. If you got a business, you should consider it cybersecurity insurance. Why? Because it may just be a matter of time. Now, here's a good question to tell you whether or not you should consider cybersecurity insurance. Have you or somebody close to you, let's say a spouse, child, parent, close friend, roommate, whatever, had one near miss or one incident with spam, hackers, weird text messages, strange phone calls, whatever, in the last 6 months? Do you know somebody that got pinched in a hurry and had to, well, I don't know, change all their banking information, order a new driver's license, get new credit cards, change all their passwords? Do you have a password manager? How many times do you check the password manager for them to say, hey, because I know right now 3 passwords, and people are like, oh, Mitch, tell us what they are. I'm not going to tell you what passwords are. But I know right now on my password managers, 3 common ones that are used for just junk sites. You know, you go shop somewhere, you sign up with an email address, plug in a password, so now your account's set up over there, kind of thing. This password has been compromised, or it's really common in use with other things. Well, if I'm not putting any private banking information or whatever, then great. If I got to go to, I don't know, IKEA and shop for a couch, I don't want to log in the same all the time. But now my password manager is telling me that, as an example, and no, it's not IKEA, so stop trying to hack my IKEA account with my regular email address, right? Now I got to worry about IKEA. So what are the steps and the mechanics that we're going to take to tell other business owners out there, but so that we can tell ourselves too, to protect yourselves in a digital world? Because this thing, or the glowing box that we're staring at right now, or if you happen to be using this thing to create the glowing box to talk, what are the steps and mechanics we do to fix this? What do we do to protect ourselves? What do we do to cover our butts? What do small business owners do so that they can, sleep a little better at night? Maybe not worry about it.
I think one thing you can do, a lot of the more serious accounts have, is that that 2-tier authorization, so a phone code is sent to your phone that you have to enter in. So it's not just somebody can just access it if they have your thing, but just take that extra second. I mean, the phone's usually right beside your desk anyway. So all of a sudden you just pick up the code and then you go. But so anyone has that 2-level authentication, that's a great way to kind of do one extra level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. And, it's something for us right now, the prepaid credit cards is the one that you pay online with, so that you know exactly what's going on. Again, depending on your, finances and your cash flow. Yes, obviously you may need to have true credit, but we've just find anything that we personally order online, and let's call a spade, like the happy smiley boxes show up at my house almost daily, right? But it's only purchased through a prepaid card, so that we know at any point in time, if somebody captures that, we know how much is on there at any one time, right? So that is something from a resource standpoint that I now qualify with the small business owners, because again, you can't be pinched for $10,000 or $15,000 on a credit card. Nobody has the cash flow right now.
Mm-hmm. Laurette, Paul?
I would say ask questions and slow down. So usually they get you really fast because you weren't thinking, right? But if you're question it, you're wait a minute. Because I had a phone call this week that was and I'm waiting for a package that's hey, your package has something in it, blah, blah, blah. We're coming to get you. And I'm that's a new one. That's very convincing. Wait a minute. I'm fine.
So, Laurette, did they come and get you, or are you still good?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
I'm
fantastic.
super good.
You're super good. Paul?
Hi, try and keep it simple. We're all super busy. There's a lot of stuff that's on YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now. But also your IT specialist, right? You don't have to be a specialist. You don't have to relearn everything. So, a little bit of money saves you a shit ton of time in getting your stuff wired properly and educated. And not only yourself, but your family, your kids. How about your parents who are online? That's the other area that we can help out with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So tell me I'm wrong here in a moment, or add anything else you need to, and then we're going to switch subject right away. Change your passwords. We hear that an awful lot. Is that good enough? Or password manager is even better. 2-factor authentication. Different passwords between banking, email, and shopping, other places. Prepaid credit cards, right? Securing everything you can with a password on here. Or thumbprint face, yes, no, right? What do we do? How far should somebody go, or what they should just consider at the cost of doing business? So I've outlined a few things there. Is there anything missing, or is there a little more information? And then we'll flip to our next subject.
I mean,
Changing your password.
Yep.
Oh, you want to go first, Paul?
Correct. Go ahead.
Yeah, go
Changing
ahead.
your password is the best. And so I asked someone, like, how often should you change your password? And like, usually a criminal takes about 6 months to actually use your password. So if you were changing it every 3 months, you should be fine. And then face doesn't work for me. Like, I have a twin, so face security, no, that doesn't work.
But if somebody got into your stuff, you'd know who it is.
Right.
Okay, fair enough. Paul?
I like, the isolation of things, right? Maybe you have an older laptop or a separate laptop that only has certain information on it. Maybe you have an external drive. Maybe you have a cloud service that you only use for this information and that. So it's that ease of separation, and definitely having different passwords for sensitive information. As more people are working from home, things to consider is a second dedicated line just for your business, so that your kids aren't on there, maybe leaking information right from your router, because your router is compromised. So, it's that ease of separation, doing things a little bit different and compartmentalizing things, is a really good first step.
Okay. Paul, Don, anything else to add? Sorry, Matt and Don. Yeah.
No, I think you covered some of the basics there, but I think it gets some advice too. There's a lot of different options, and a level of security depending on the importance, and how, change bank accounts regularly as far as the passwords go, and two-level authentication. But just get some advice, get someone to check it in, just like you get advice on a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Paul's comment about separation, I think is very important as well. I have certain things on my phone, but like, I am one of those individuals that doesn't carry a wallet anymore. I have it on my watch, or I have it on my phone, right? And, to speak to generational gap, like, my mother has an iPhone, but all of her passwords are literally folded behind her iPhone, chicken scratched, so that at any point in time, if she needs them. So again, like, what kind of security is that, right? But that happens everywhere. And we are in the modern version thereof, because if you use one password for everything, you might as well just use your name, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So, and I have a software program now that identifies, hey, this, and you see it all the time on banking apps and other, hey, this has been notified, or been part of a password, program, you need to change it immediately. How many of us truly say, oh, I need to change that right now? Or do you go, I'll do it later? And, like, you will be guilty. You are absolutely going to be guilty, right? So yeah, the separation, I think, is something. And yeah, like, just being active, this is part of the business. And really right now, one of the most important parts is the security of the data. That's the biggest companies don't care about the product they sell. They care about the data that they're, bringing in. And that's something that we all need to be mindful of.
So encompass and encapsulate that really quickly, and to speak to either the prepared or the paranoid. Let's talk about leveling it up a little bit for one moment, because we want to not just be helpful. Yes, use two-factor authentication with Google. Make sure your banking password and email password are different. Make sure your passwords for online stores are different from your banking password and email password. And then, of course, make sure that your data is set aside someplace else, and that you're willing to make some changes. So who here, you could show of hands again as well, but call this security point number 1. Who here has switched to using password phrases with character and symbol replacement? Right? Every digit that goes past a certain number of digits in your password starts to increase the amount of time it takes for AI algorithms to figure out what your password is. So by simply using password phrases instead of passwords and doing letter, symbol, and number replacement, you can start to increase the security on it, as long as you're the only person that knows the phrase. So there's number 1. Number 2, if you're worried about your email, you can go to two-factor authentication. Google, most of the major providers carry this stuff right now. Or if that's still not enough, you can go to a service like Proton Mail, which is one of the most secure email servers on the planet. So if you decide that security has to be above all else, You want to sit there and be HIPAA compliant, etc. You decide that you want to be able to take on data for medical or security, etc. You can go to an organization or a company like Proton Mail and get an email done from them, right? Number 3, other than securing your own personal credit and using it regularly to both balance out your credit and improve it, switching to what? Prepaid cards for any and all online purchases. Keep your credit away from online as much as possible. If you're not talking to a human being, or do it inside of a secure portal, in other words, you're somewhere, it's right here, it is, dealing with your actual bank, that credit should be kept someplace else. Get data management. Figure out where it is, turn on all the logging, find out who's got access, and regularly review it. If you've got data management for your business, how many businesses with at least 10 plus employees, and I've watched it over the years, Don, I'm sure you've seen it, Matt, Paul, you've seen it, Lorette, you've seen it before. How many people have access to stuff even though they haven't worked for a company for 2 years? I have clients, I still have access to privileged information of theirs that they've never removed. I've tried to remove it. And they're like, that's fine. We might need you again. I'm like, really? Really, is it fine? I'm calling to let you know that maybe this is a good idea for the security of your stuff. They're like, it's okay. We trust you. Well, okay, I tried, right? I tried. Do these things and you're liable to create more security for yourself. And the last one, and this is a huge one, and the older you get, for some reason, this is the best reminder you can get, but everybody gets caught, pinched right now. The moment this thing lights up and you get a phone call, you get an email, you get a text message, you get it through WhatsApp, you get direct messaged on Instagram, you get pinged on TikTok, whatever it is, and somebody is asking you, telling you, or wants you to do something, what's the first thing you can do? You can go back to the glowing box, you can go to Mother Google, you can Google the company directly. And let's say it's information from your bank. Never touch the tab here. Go on here, open up a brand new browser window, go to your bank and log in like normal. Go to your email and log in like normal. Call your utility provider and say, I got a weird message that said I owed you a giant pile of money and you wanted it sent in Apple gift cards. Can you confirm whether or not I should send you Apple gift cards? Thank you very much. Now, other than the person answering the phone, you're like, who makes a phone call these days? Great. Then type the words utility company XYZ, insert the company name there, not XYZ. Scam Apple gift card into Google. See what comes up. I bet you're going to see exactly the same message you just got yourself. There's just about the best you can do without doing anything at all to make yourself less of a target. All right, now we've warmed up a little bit. Cybersecurity, for the cybersecurity unaware. Cryptocurrency. Been around for a while. Well, Mitch, no, it hasn't. Yeah, it has. 11 years in the mainstream. Longer than that since crypto started. It's 2021. If you don't know what the words crypto and currency means, I can't help you. I got nothing for you, right? But if you do know what cryptocurrency is, hi, Dad. If you do know what cryptocurrency is, then 1, are you using it? 2, where do you think it applies? And 3, have you incorporated it in your business yet? Ooh, there we go. We're inching dangerously close. And on my screen, Paul's right here. We're inching dangerously close to where Paul goes nuts and gets our channel banned by YouTube. But hey, you know what? Gotta flirt with the line sometimes. All right, crypto. Who's in? What's it good for? And business. Yes or no? Let's do this. Don't everybody talk at once.
Yes, absolutely great. I mean, this is where we're going. The masses haven't caught on to it. They're starting to look more towards it. The take on it right now is a way to make money rather than using it as a currency. Bitcoin acts more like a precious metal or a gold rather than a currency. The banks are interested in it. The countries are interested in it. Governments are definitely interested in it. on that side, and Wall Street is interested in it. So if Wall Street's interested in it, there's definitely some money to be made. But there's also some prominent people that are out there. One of them, Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary was staunchly against anything crypto, was against Bitcoin, and now he's starting up a company that is in the crypto market. So I think it's time in, and once you look into it, then you can see where we're heading and the value of it. Another one is Robert Kiyosaki, again, publicly coming out against cryptocurrency and has done a complete 180 and is now embracing it after, it's information. It's information. We say no to things that we don't understand, and that's human nature. I was no different. Or like the guy who ordered a pizza for I think 10,000 Bitcoin, he's probably really kicking himself, right? So it's not something to always run away from. It's something to delve into, and this is interesting. Let's take a look at this. Do I have a wallet? Yes. Do I have crypto? I have some, not Bitcoin. Am I more interested in it and learning more? Absolutely. I see it's the way of the future. I see there's massive opportunity that is coming.
Yeah, I believe I've been interested in the space for quite some time, but I am looking at it as again an additional form of opportunity. No different than some of the overseas, like the Alipay's or the WePays and those type. Not a great deal of companies in North America will utilize it. We utilize all forms at this point, just because it's we don't use it as the fluctuating, crypto money making opportunity. We just simply say, hey, you have it, you want to give it to us, you want to pay, excellent. We can utilize it and retain value off of it. So I think it's going to be an important piece, over the course of the next 5-6 years as the adoption increases and exponentially. Again, when you have government agencies now looking at it, and right now the fact that Elon Musk can tank almost all cryptocurrencies, whether or not you can buy a car with it or not, is not where I'm interested in. It's more of a, hey, you owe me, I'm a company X, you owe me $1,000, you have it available, great, I'm going to utilize that. So yeah, I take Bitcoin, I take crypto, and why wouldn't you, right? So I would think that if you don't know enough, get to know, right? And again, get to know from the right people. Don't just go onto Google and find, X, Y, and Z. You go and actually research it a bit, or go to one of the agencies out here locally. Be great.
Mm-hmm. Laurette, Don?
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to go crazy on this answer, because in Lunchbox, I've been like very neutral on things, and I haven't given like a full-blown like Laurette answer, but I'm like, no, it's time for tinfoil hats. Okay. Money is energy, cryptocurrency is energy, everything is energy, right? So paranoid, pandemic, everything is so much easier to like change nowadays. Like the pandemic makes it, oh no, you don't have money, you have cryptocurrency. Yes. So I just think obviously cryptocurrency is a way and a movement. And like, I'm Alberta raised, and I'm like, no, I purposely carry money around because I believe in the money. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not stupid. Money is energy. Money is paper. There's no way in 100 years we're going to be using money. We're going to be using some type of cryptocurrency. The only question is, which type are we going to use? So that's where the game is fun, because you're like, I don't know, lawless rules right now, but we'll see what happens in 5 years. We'll see what happens in a year from now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that a lot of people are shying away from a digital currency, but when you think of all the fiat or the dollar currencies, about 90% of it is already digital. There isn't, all the money they've made or given away, whatever, is not printed and put out there. They just say, listen, we're going to put some money investment in banks. The Bank of Canada or the Treasury pops it into another bank. It just goes digitally. There's no printing. So 90% of fiat currencies are already in the digital space. We just move it around by numbers and zeros and ones, move around. So it's kind of there, but it takes a little more to understand it. I have a personal interest in thinking it as investment, as an interesting thing to diversify. Just like maybe you shouldn't have everything in mutual funds or just everything in gold or whatever. It's to have maybe a balance of different things, because who knows what's going to take off and go forward. And so what will crash, whatever. So maybe understanding a bit of Bitcoin and that kind of thing would be good. I currently am looking at exchange traded funds, which are on the stock exchange, which so the stock exchange manages them to keep them kind of legit. And you don't have to go and buy a digital wallet for that. You just have to buy the shares on the stock exchange, and you can put it in your TFSA or your RSP. You can be saves there. So it doesn't have to fall outside of that program. And then you don't have to go in as much, but you can play in the market. And I think when you dabble in it with a little bit, you start to hear more things, get more knowledge, and you're bringing your awareness up. So it's just one way that you can kind of get involved. But I would also look at anybody who wants to buy my services with crypto. I just evaluate it, say, hey, it's another piece of business I wouldn't mind having, and as long as I knew up front. And you can balance it out. Do I need the cash normally, or would crypto payment, that just maybe gets me going down a new way? So if anyone out there wants to pay with crypto, give me a call.
Fantastic. Love it. Even got a plug in too, Don. Killing it today. It's like, hey, by the way, I'm a business coach that takes crypto. You heard it here on YouTube. The worst part is I haven't even said it yet. Mitch Cabbage Coaching hosts this one, in Don's business. Hit it first on. I got to put that in the notes after. Hey, you want to pay for business coaching in crypto? Check out Don. Here's his link. Let's do it. Hey, just so we're really clear on this, according to my crypto wallet, I'm a billionaire, right? Now it's worth about $40, but I'm a billionaire. Absolutely 100% certified. So I can't wait. Loving it. Loving it. I'll remember all of you people when I get there, honestly, right? Or I'll buy you coffee because that's what it's worth right now. So there we go. Crypto. Got to do it for business, right? This is another one of those disruptions, innovations. And by the way, again, mainstream for crypto, 11 years. A 1 and a 1, and add the word years to the end of it, right next to it. That's how long it's been here. Okay. And again, we started off really quick at the front end where I said, hey, 4 years ago, I watched a former client have to negotiate a $50 million Bitcoin ransomware payment from a major hotelier who wanted to unlock their payroll account because, I don't know, pirates took it over. And if they didn't pay, they were going to be able to pay their thousands of employees a massive chunk of money. And they didn't even want to bother dealing with their insurance company or bother calling the cops or anything else. Like, we'll pay it. We need this done. We'll pay it. So we had to figure out how to buy that much in Bitcoin without devaluing an exchange for Bitcoin on one of the exchange servers to get enough in value to be able to actually conduct the transaction. He goes, for a moment, I was the richest person I've ever been in Bitcoin. It was great. And then it went away. So what can you do? All right. What's next? So we're staring at this right now. We're looking at payment portals. So how do people deal this? How do people deal with it? How do they do it? What do they do? So let's take, we got this room right now. We think crypto for business. Okay. Tinfoil hat and all. You know, it's part of the world that we got, right? Hell, Matt's over here rocking barter pay, right? He's got a non-fiat currency of his own working. We got good old cash money. We got credit card payments. We've got swap and straight barter. In business, is it just enough to adopt crypto, or with what we've seen the last 18 months, the shift in business, the disruption we've had, do you have to start to look at business in a very different way when it comes to how you exchange goods and services for money? Does this speak more to the psychology of what goes into how money works, accepting crypto? Or does this have to be something where now for businesses to be more agile, you have to look at being able to take payment from the traditional, give me an envelope or a check or pay with your credit card? And do we have to start to add new ways so that your business has a better viability? Now, if we think survivability for businesses, ones that continually survive, never mind thrive and grow, have strong cash and cash flow, sell consistently and continuously, market, have solid plans, adapt and adjust when market conditions change, try and be predictive, of course, and then leaders that are really successful in business carry a couple of criteria. First of all, they're resilient. Secondly, they're tenacious, right? In other words, they don't stop like the Terminator, right? They just keep moving and moving and moving. They're self-starters. They can problem solve, and they're good at communicating with people. Is the way we view money does it have to change now entirely if you haven't? And that starts with things like crypto and then goes to other ways. Let's finish off the money discussion on that. What should business owners be looking to do with their business if they haven't adopted crypto as a moment? And how else should you look at the way you get paid for business?
I'll start, and I need to qualify one of the last statements. Do I think that if you are a trades company and you have somebody that has $100,000 project, that you should incorporate $100,000 worth of crypto as full payment? I don't believe so. Again, unless you're in a fantastic cash flow equation. That being said, can it be a portion thereof? Yes. Or if it is a AR AP scenario and it's a client that maybe has gone over 60, 90 days, look at ways that you can now realize something. And again, like Mitch talked about it a couple of weeks back about the likelihood of getting paid after 32 days, I believe now, through the pandemic, right? So that would be where I would look at it first. Or for the small value transactions. Again, I have a coffee shop near me here, and their ATM is a Bitcoin ATM, and they allow it through their payment at point of sale. So it's fantastic. That's where I would probably use it and see value in it, but I wouldn't do large scale transactions if you are in that small, medium size range.
Mm-hmm. Paul, Barrett, Don?
I've heard it's not far away yet, but there's going to be a card that'll be your Bitcoin card that you'll pay like a credit card. So rather right now, the ATMs and things typically kind of just transfer back to cash and go back out. But there's coming up Bitcoin credit cards. So those be kind of cool. Once that comes up, I think the currency becomes a lot more ubiquitous, so we can use it with machines and things everywhere, and we don't have to worry about conversions and digital wallets so much. Maybe just pop a few dollars into your card, and then like a prepaid card, so it doesn't get stolen, and then you keep your digital wallet someplace safe. But it's just maybe once it comes to that, now it's a credit card. So Visa, MasterCard, or crypto. I think the challenging things is there's like 200 different currencies right now in crypto. So it's like you have to have 200 cards. Do you take this one or that one or So I think there has to be kind of a battle out there. Who's going to be the big players, or the big players got to buy up all the smaller players, and so there's got to be some shakeups going yet. But it's coming where it'll be useful for everyone.
Can you repeat the question, Mitch? I just need a full grasp of the question.
Now, we started with crypto. Should businesses be looking at, I guess I'll paraphrase or shorten it. Should businesses be looking at more than one way to get paid? Not just cash money. There's cash, there's credit, there's bank transfers, there's barter pay, there's cryptocurrency, there's lots of different things. Should businesses now, does it show agility, and should they do it? In other words, is it to become more agile as a business to add more ways that people can transact with you? And if you do, what should people be doing with it?
Okay, because I know that Paul's gonna have a better answer than me, so I'm like, I have to go before him. Number one, ignorance is bliss. So like when you don't know, you're just like, wee, in the first place. But like as business owners, resiliency and being tenacious. So I know whatever will happen, I'm gonna be resilient and I'm gonna be tenacious, period.
Paul, the rebuttal.
Well, I think you touched on it earlier with, the processes of how to run a business. I think we all see that business owners are working way too many hours and they're not putting processes in place. So, a big root cause of not being able to even look at this stuff is you're tired, you're burnt out, you've had enough, it's Friday, your brain's turning into tapioca. And the last thing you want to do is start learning something brand new. So, it kind of goes back to your own processes. And, I'm talking more about the entrepreneur and the small business and the business owner is have your processes in place, free up your time. So then you can look at disruptors, you can look at innovation, you can look at the things within your business. Now, to speak directly about, anything to do with the currencies that are coming out, the cryptos, is exactly what everyone else said. start dabbling in it. It's not get 100% paid in it, but start taking a smaller percentage. Start taking 2% of your sales in something, and start really delving into it, because the other arms of disruption, from blockchain to AI to robotics, those are also on the cusp of coming up. So it's not to run away from this stuff and say, I don't need to learn all of this. This is an opportunity where you can expand your horizon and see opportunities for your own business that you can implement, or see opportunities that you can eventually invest in. So it's bringing that curiosity rather than trying to avoid it because we don't have any time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what's the stuff people should do? How should they do it? So give me a short little list. Everybody here, their short little list, what you think businesses should or should not be getting into, right? Barter, crypto, regular payments, alternate payments, multiple currencies, taking goats, doesn't matter what it is. Give me the list of stuff that you think business owners should do or do not.
Well, and you brought up goats. Like, people still do that, like in the small business world. And again, you need to be careful if the CRA is listening to this, because if you're not qualifying it as income, that's no good. But people will take, gifts in kind or like goods at a perceived value, but that's super risky. And obviously, I'm somewhat preaching, but I think everybody should take barter pay because it makes sense and it mitigates a lot of risk. But, do I think that small businesses should go out and find an IT specialist and a technician? Yes, that would be number one. From there, make sure that you are safe and secure. Think of it as insurance for your business. And then on the payment side or the revenue side, I would just say if you allow access for payment within your business in all forms, then you're more likely to get the sale. Because if you make it easy for someone to pay you, then why wouldn't you?
Don, what you think?
I think there's just a qualifier there about, as we're business coaches, is can the owner handle it? There's, like, as Paul was saying, they're so involved in their business, they don't have time to think about it. So maybe for some people, this is just not the right time because they haven't got a good handle on their business and their cash flow and all the other key business aspects that have to be managed. So maybe it's just a, heads up, say, why don't you have time for Bitcoin? Well, because I have all these other things that are out of whack. Well, maybe you got to get all those. It's just a wake up call. Get those things sorted out because these other things are going to fly right by you. And then it's going to be a little late. You're going to miss an opportunity. So make sure your house is in order and then, give that some time to work on your business, which part of it will be payments and keeping yourself open to other opportunities that maybe would pass you by, as Matt says.
Mm-hmm. 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 Matt,
I
would ask you to rebuttal if there's anything to add first.
I'm just looking through, right? And I agree with that. I think that if you don't have your shit wired as it is, don't add something else, right? But I would say that everything within the crypto world right now is a positive. There's no red here, right? So if you were structured enough and you incorporated this, it's actually a revenue opportunity, right? I wouldn't utilize it and rely upon it as such, but it could be, and it could help weather a little bit of the storm here too, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Laurette? Paul?
Okay, so again, what works for you? Exchange of goods and services. Money works for me. I'm gonna stick with money. But like what to invest in? Should I invest in this cryptocurrency or this cryptocurrency? People, and I mean building a team, is currency as well. So I believe the best investment is to build trust with people, because if you have a team of people that you're working with, they all know different things about different things. So obviously on your team, have an IT person. Obviously on your team, have like a cryptocurrency person that actually is current on the pulse of that. That's what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Does it fit? Does it fit your business? Does collecting goats fit your business? If it doesn't, don't do it. It's plain and simple. Why add all of this extra stuff if you're never going to do it? Keep it freaking simple. Doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't have to be the experts. Like Lorette said, you can leverage other people. You know what? There's probably a 12-year-old or a 6-year-old for that matter that's investing in this stuff and knows it forwards and backwards. So, having that conversation within your own family household, maybe the kids that you haven't talked to for 2 weeks because you've been so busy in your business are actually killing it in Bitcoin. So, does it fit? Keep it simple and learn a little bit about it and reach out to who knows, who do you know within your circle? And again, it's also, this isn't pie in the sky. Oh, we're going to be billionaires. And it's not the sky is falling. The real information is always in the middle. So I try to reach the guys who have been in business and, have been smacked and have been hit and, they've had ups and they've had downs. It's not the people who are like, oh, this is the best thing in the world. It's the guys that are a little more cautious, the gals out there that are a little more cautious going, I don't know about this, but I looked into it and I went through 10 different sources and yeah, there is something to this. So gathering information and then crossing it, you can get to your solution a lot quicker. So yeah, a network, massively important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Final thoughts? Going once, going twice. Sold. Now, cybersecurity, cryptocurrency, that's the order of the today because we're going into business. Should you expect lightning round, by the way, you're going to have maybe 30 seconds to talk each. Okay. Shake it out, loosen it up, get your hands going, do some push-ups if you have to, whatever it's going to take, but lightning round really quick. Do you think we're done the disruption or do we have the next round coming? Means if we are, what do you do right now? I saved the heaviest question for the end. We've been circling this terrain since June, and you're only going to get 30 seconds to provide an answer. So I got to clarify. Last 18 months is what it was. We've seen 1 in 6 businesses in Canada get their ass beat badly. We've seen more startups in the last 12 months than we have at any point in history, to the point where your ability to actually incorporate a business takes a little bit longer for the government to finish registering and sending your paperwork to you, right? Takes a little longer. So we've seen more businesses start, more businesses fail. We saw a lot of people sit at home. We saw in Canada organizations like CERB, et cetera. In the US, there's SBA and other organizations that help business owners. We had wage subsidies, rent subsidies, all this other stuff. The governments are running out of money or they got to start taxing us more, et cetera, et cetera. So have we got used to COVID well enough, or are we still looking at more disruption to come? Because we talked supply chain last week too, right? Do we have more disruption coming? And if that's the case, what do business owners do now? So it's not like last March and we're all just going, I hope I make it to the end of the month. What do we do? Is it coming? What do we do? How do we save ourselves?
Ripple effect. It's a ripple effect, right? This is a big stone in the water. Things ripple out. So we haven't even looked at bankruptcies. We haven't looked at foreclosures. We haven't looked at other disruptions. People are working from home. There's so many different disruptions that are still to hit. Yes, there's going to be more COVID shutdowns. Yes, there's going to be more of this. Yes, there's going to be more of that. So what can you do right now? Like I said last week, sell, 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 but collect your AR and your AP. You have to collect your money now and have it in the bank. So sell and collect.
All right. Paul opened up, opening salvo. Don, what you got?
Yeah, there's more to come with the COVID shutdowns, but I don't think there's any secrets there. We've already seen what the worst looks like, and we're just going to probably get to that stage where we're going to kind of get restricted what we can do. So expect that coming up. What can you do now? Do you have the right amount of labor? Is you flexible on labor costs? Are you flexible on other things? Try to get away from fixed expenses and stay to flexible expenses. So do the best to be flexible and you'll ride it out. And we'll get on the other side. And, I'm looking towards 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more disruption for sure. What does that look like? Again, I don't think it's going to be the big panic. I think it's going to be more of a throw your hands up. which we've somewhat seen in society as a whole, and the divisiveness. But in business itself, if you're surprised, that's on you, because again, we would have been there before. And what does the newest version thereof look? It's going to look slightly different, but you should have a baseline. And like Don had said, keep it flexible. And again, those buzzwords of agile and pivot and this and that, like whatever you want to say, be great at what you were good at, and then highlight what you have done in the past and really focus on the experience if you can.
You haven't seen nothing yet. So the game's just beginning. Like now we're like down the rabbit hole and things are getting developed for sure. So like why Phoenix career development? Because you change with fire. What do I always say? Refined movement. So I'm going to take Mitch's words out of his face and into mine. What can you do? Resiliency, be tenacious, be a self-starter, have your communication skills, and problem solve.
All right. See, wasn't that fun? All right. Last 30 seconds. One piece of advice you'd give to you 18 months ago at the beginning of the pandemic so that we could finish off today strong with do we got to watch out for the next disruption? What do we do to save it? What would you tell yourself 18 months ago, and what's something that you're going to be keeping in mind now? Don, you're up first.
Save up some reserve cash.
Done. Lorette, what you got?
Co-creation is a thing. You're an adult. Choose your own adventure.
Matt, what you got?
Don't sell your Bitcoin.
Love it. Paul?
Buy lumber.
Save cash, get friends, don't sell your Bitcoin, and definitely buy lumber. I think that pretty much summed up the entire North American experience in 4 sentences. Absolutely love it. I'm going to add the 5th one, and we're going to sign off for the day. So Don and Lorette, thank you for joining our panel. Paul and Matt, my brothers from other mothers, always riding shotgun here. Here's your last one of the day. Paul said it earlier. Where did Paul get it from? Right here. Sell every day. That's it. Little companies, it's a non-negotiable rule. You must sell every day. Some of the biggest companies in the world, you know what one of their non-negotiable rules are? Sell every day. What makes you so special that you aren't going to do it? If you're not doing it right now, you're going to get hurt. That's the same thing I said to myself 18 months ago. It's the same thing I've talked to hundreds of business owners since about during a pandemic, and that advice still holds true now. We're in a market disruption. This is nuclear winter for business. How do you survive? Save cash, buy lumber, don't sell your Bitcoin yet, invest in good friends, and sell every damn day. That's a pretty good little business plan to carry around. I think it's a really good business plan. Actually, Lorette's words were co-create. Find other people, do your shit so it's not done alone. Don, Lorette, thank you so much. Paul, Matt, as always, it's great to see you. My name is Mitch Camage. I am the Savage in Business. This is the Mitch Camage Coaching Virtual Business Box Lunch, September 3rd of 2021. And today we hit you with cryptocurrency. Today we hit you with cybersecurity. And today we hit you with a quick little action plan, because it's not over yet. Don't lie to yourself. It's still coming for you. It's still coming for your family and your friends. It's still coming for your bosses. It's still coming for your customers. It's still coming. So you got to get yourself ready. So you create the island around you of calm that you can bring other people in, and you can do what you need to do to not just keep your business moving, but there's an awful lot of people, not a small percentage, but an awful lot of people that I know personally that made it rain so far in the pandemic. Which side of that fence are you going to be on? The ones where the grass is growing green, or the other side where the lawn and the dog are dead? Get your shit wired. Take care of it for your business. And thank you so much for joining us on the Virtual Business Box Lunch. We will see you next Friday. We will see the panel as always. And I look forward to seeing you right here next week. Have an awesome one. And hey, take good care of yourself, right? Because life is short. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Art.
and we are off the air.